Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Speaking Through the Fog. This is my mini series, But You Don't Look Sick. Last time I talked about all the effort that I put into doing a blog. This time I'm going to talk about a little bit about what people with invisible illnesses go through as far as people's perception of us. So that pen pal that I had, told me, originally when he first saw me talking on my blogs, I looked, young, pretty, attractive, not really sick at all, so he didn't really understand where I was as sick as I was saying. And this is kind of the people's in general's view when they see me and I say I'm really sick. Especially because I'm, usually out when I'm feeling okay. So, I tell them I'm sick and they smile and they say, "Oh, you poor thing, I'm so sorry you're sick." And then in the back of their mind, they're going, "Wow, I think she's either overreacting or something's going on. It just cannot be as bad as she's saying if she looks okay like this, And like I said in my previous blog, they don't know how much effort I take to look this normal. And this one Mei said basically, I'm not acting sick, I'm acting normal. Or this other one said, what was it? It was, "Oh, are you really okay?" And she said, "No, I'm not. I'm acting like I'm okay, and you're interrupting my performance." So there's other people who feel this way too, and there's other people who don't look sick. A patient in a documentary that I had watched had said every time she goes and meets a new doctor and she shakes their hand, she says to the doctor, "Nice to meet you. I wish you could have met me before. I was such a cool person then." And she's also said, she wishes that they can compare her from before to now, because you would see the person was a hardworking, like totally driven, totally, not the type of person to want to sit around or pretend like they're sick for the attention. Another May said, "Don't you think that if I was pretending to be sick, I would pretend to have a sickness that was more believable?" And that kind of is the whole thought behind pretending like, either over dramatizing or pretending like you're sick, or, trying to do it for attention or whatever. It's like, well, if I was doing that, don't you think I'd do something that was a little bit more obvious? I mean, you're not going to just take me by my word, most people have to have some kind of proof that you're sick, and it's so sad that people have to prove that they're sick. It's like, people in this society can't just take somebody on their word, and that's kind of the sadness I get when I see it. And it's not even for me, it's for other people who have to deal with this. These are invisible illnesses. Invisible not meaning like you can't see the thing that's causing it. Invisible in that it doesn't look like an illness. People don't look ill. It's invisible. So a lot of people have said, "I wish I had AIDS or cancer so that way people could treat me better." Or, have my face go slack so that somebody can see that I'm sick, or lose weight, at an incredible amount so people can see I'm sick. I have a little bit of weight on me. That's part of why people think that, I look so good and couldn't possibly be sick. They look at me and go, "Well, you're heavier, so if you were sick, you wouldn't be heavy like that. Sick people are like emaciated." And it's like, no, I can't exercise. Exercise makes me sick. I can't eat most of the time, but I'm not absorbing my nutrients right, and so it just goes straight to calories and I gain weight. And I can't get it off of me because I can't exercise. And I don't want to be heavy. I want to be skinny like I was before, but I can't exercise. Exercise makes me sick. So I had been kind of avoiding my old work because I was worried about how embarrassing it would be for me to come in and, be sick. Then on top of that, I was, that back in my mind, like, well, what if they don't believe me? And these are people that I used to really like care about because I worked with them, and so when I came wheeling into my work, all these people who used to work with me, it'd been 2 years since I've been in there, and CUNY, my fiance, had been in there on and off to go say hi because it was a brewery and he'd go and have a beer. And all these people just like stopped what they were doing because they saw me in a wheelchair and said, what happened to you? And I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, I can walk. And they're like, no, what happened to you? Why are you in a wheelchair? And I was like, no, I can get up. It's just, if I walk for too long, I pass out. And they're like, oh my gosh, Miranda, that is okay. Well, are you working? What are you doing right now? Like, we haven't seen you. And I'm like, well, I'm not working. I can barely get out of the house. And they were like, oh my God, something must be wrong. And it was just like this really nice visit because I felt like these people knew me and they knew me for a long time. And like people were giving me these long hugs just like because it'd been so long. And they felt so bad to see me like that. And they knew me. They knew that if I could get back to work right after I had Ashlyn, I would have. If I was in a wheelchair, that's because I needed to be. I don't sit in a wheelchair because, just because. It's because I can't walk. And they know me and that I push myself too much. And I kept saying, I can get out, it's fine. And they kept going, no, Miranda, sit in your wheelchair. If you have a wheelchair, you need one. So it was really nice. And it just sucks that society as a general just, they don't know me. They see me for what is in front of them and they assume things. And invisible illnesses, there's just not that much known about them. So the general public doesn't really care. So after this, I'm going to talk about my symptoms. And that was just a brief overview, I guess, of what people deal with. Let me think if there's anything else that I want to say. Well, I will say that we try really hard to look normal. We get all dressed up and we want to feel normal because we feel so abnormal usually. And we look really good and it goes a really long time and we're like, dang, we look fine. This is awesome. Like, I'm going to go out. I'm going to see my friends. They're going to tell me I look okay. That's going to be great because I feel so shitty right now and to look good would be great. And then you go out and people are like, you look so good. And you're like, thank you, because you've been feeling so crappy. It's like, yay, I look fine. Thank you. And then that one person who's like going, well, if you look that good, then why can't you look that good all the time? And then it just kills that buzz. You're like, why did I even do this? This is so stupid. So yeah, that feeling really affects us more than we even show sometimes, because it's like you feel so good about looking good and then you're like, I just screwed myself over because now that person isn't going to believe I'm sick. And that person is never going to see me looking sick, so they don't know. Anyways, so the next episode is going to be about my symptoms a little bit.